Hello, welcome. Thanks for joining me today on this video podcast. Today I'm talking with Will Thalheimer. Will, welcome.
Thank you, Brent. Great to be here.
Yeah, it's good to see you after all these years. It seems like we maybe have chatted every now and then, but haven't seen each other face to face or even virtually face to face in a long time.
I know. Well, you're still looking good, though.
Oh, well, thanks. You too. So why don't you, I know most people in the industry must know who you are, but just in case there's a few people out there who don't, why don't you tell us who Will Thalheimer is and how you got into this crazy world of learning and instruction and research and whatnot.
All right. Well, I was born. No, I won't start there. So I'm a learning guy, and it was in my mid-20s that I started thinking about learning a lot. And I was sort of having some mental breakdowns and things. And so
like we all tend to do, right?
Yeah, and I was living at home with my mom. I mean, it was all bad, you know. I began taking stock of my life and what did I wanted to do with it. And I remember writing down this one thing that I wanted to help people learn. And I didn't know what that was, but I wanted to help people learn. And over the years, I did that. I started out in small ways. I was a recreation counselor helping cognitively challenged, emotionally disturbed adolescents with their daily grooming skills and things like that. And later I helped severely cognitive challenged people do things like even just reach for a spoon, take care of themselves. And then, I thought to myself, and this was a confused time, right? As a young man. And so I started thinking, well, what I'm going to do is become a manager. So I went to get an MBA. And when I started to get my MBA, I'm thinking, well, this business stuff is okay, but it's not really a passion of mine. Where's this learning stuff going to come in? And so I was at Drexel University, and they had some courses on instructional design. And so I started to take those courses. I took a 4-course sequence. I got really into it. And then as I was graduating, well, actually my master's project, I tried to create, and this was a crazy idea, but I tried to create a business simulation in Lisp. And, with the recursion and stuff. And
wow.
I got completely over my head and failed at that. But then I started looking for a job, right? MBA, I should be able to get a job.
Yeah.
And I was looking in Training Magazine, and I saw this advertisement for this company, World Leaders in Business Simulation. I said, oh, that's the company I want to work for. And so I noticed that they were like 4 blocks from my house. So I literally put on my business suit, and I went there the next day, and I introduced myself, and I said, I want to work for you guys. So I eventually did that and started, my career building simulations and doing other instructional design stuff. And then after about 3 years of that, I decided to go to grad school. And, I figured if I really wanted to make a difference, I need a PhD. So I went to Columbia, got my PhD in human learning and cognition. And
I'm sorry, so we should be calling you Dr. Thalheimer.
Oh, that's okay. Just call me Will. Don't call me late to dinner. So I got that, and then I went back to the same company, the Strategic Management Group, and I led a leadership development product line, and I became a leadership trainer. Not a very good one at first, I have to say. And we built more simulations, leadership simulations. It was a lot of fun, because when you create simulations, you sort of get to create the world as you see it.
Yeah.
And, kind of like playing God. It was kind of fun.
Oh, yeah.
So I did that, and then I noticed in our field that we would sort of jump from one fad to another and hold on sanctimoniously to things that didn't work that well.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, why are we doing this? And I realized that we really didn't have a common body of knowledge in our field. And that, I got this crazy idea, well, maybe I can help. Maybe I can help bridge the gap between the research side and the practice side.
Yeah.
And I had a real naive view of it. Oh, I'll just, a couple of years, I'll whip out a book and I'll get famous and people will come to me. And, I've decided that that book's going to take another 5 to 10 years to finish, but I have finished a book and it will be out in the next 6 months.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, it's on how to create smile sheets that actually work. But so what I do now basically is almost every year, I read over 200 articles from the scientific referee journals on learning, memory, and instruction. And because research in our field doesn't pay anything, I do the practice side as well, which I love, using the research to help people build more effective learning interventions.
Yeah.
So I do keynote addresses, I do workshops, I do conference sessions, and I do this thing called learning audits. And what a learning audit is I'll look at a learning intervention, whether it's classroom training, whether it's e-learning, or whether it's on-the-job hands-on learning. And I will do what I call research benchmarking, seeing how it's aligned with the research and seeing how it's misaligned. And I make recommendations based on that. In fact, I'm so high on that idea about learning audits that over the summer I wrote a report on how other people can do it, and it's available for free on, what's the name of it? Thelearningaudit.com. A lot of us don't look seriously at our learning. If we're trying to create effective things, we need to get good feedback, and it's part of that. So, so the learning audits are great, and I really love doing that with clients because, a lot of dedicated people you work with, they really want to do good stuff.
Yeah.
And they're doing, usually the folks I work with, they're doing good stuff, but they can do it better, right? And it's fun to do. So that's in a nutshell what I do these days.
Yeah, no, that's great. So I think I think a lot of people know your take on learning styles and your reward that is currently, I forget what it's at, but let's dive into that a little bit.
Okay.
And talk about that, and then we can kind of go into the other myths and the science that we should be following. But let's start with that. Let's focus on that whole learning styles debate, and let's get very clear on that for people that are listening. And maybe we can make the definitive statement and make a stand right now.
Okay, folks. So.
Hey, thanks for watching part 1 of my interview with Will Thalheimer. Part 2 is coming up at the litmus.com blog. We're going to be talking about learning styles and busting that myth.